You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African-American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.
Hey, my lean and lit lovelies. Welcome back to another episode of Get Lean and Lit with Lindy. So this is the podcast for women over 40 who are ready to get fit or maintain their fitness level. Maybe some of us are already fit. We don't need to get fit. We need to maintain it. We want to get strong, lean, and healthy without doing anything crazy, participating in shenanigans, believing the hype. We're not here for any of that. We are here to do sustainable health strategies and habits, period. No craziness, no foolishness. So today's episode might be one of the most important topics we've talked about yet. I think all of my topics are super important, but this one is really, really something you should tune into. It's based on a big 2026 study that was published in a journal called JAMA Network Open, and it followed more than 5,400 women over a period of 8 years, women in ages 63 to 99, so older women, and followed these women for a period of 8 years. So that's significant. It's lots of people over a significant amount of time, and you're going to be surprised at what the researchers found out. So the researchers set out to answer one simple question. And the question is, does muscle strength predict how long women live? Sounds like a simple question, but the answer is enlightening. So spoiler alert, yes, it absolutely does. And honestly, the results contained in the study are extremely powerful. So today we're going to be breaking down the study. We're going to talk about why muscle matters way more than women realize, and what this means for you if you're over 40. So you guys with me? Great. Let's get into it. So let's start with the research, what the researchers actually did. They followed precisely 5,472 women for an average of 8.4 years. And they measured two things that sound super simple, but are actually incredibly telling. The first thing they followed was grip strength. That's basically how strong your hands are. So grip strength, number one. Number two, how fast the women could stand up from a chair 5 times without using their hands. Okay, now before you start rolling your eyes and think, okay, what does standing up from a chair have to do with anything? Let me just say this, everything. Because that movement requires leg strength, balance, coordination, and core stability, all wrapped into one. Now, all these things keep you functional and independent as you age. So over the 8-year follow-up, about 1,964 of the women died. And what researchers found very, very striking was, listen up to this part, the women with the higher muscle strength had significantly lower risk of death. So what's even more interesting is that relationships still held true even after researchers adjusted for certain things like physical activity level, sedentary time, walking speed, and inflammation markers. So in other words, it wasn't just about who exercised more. That's not it. Strength itself is what matters. So let that sink in for a minute. It was the strength that mattered. Next, let's discuss why muscles matter so much. Because I'm always talking about muscles and protein and growing your muscles and working out. Let's talk about why it matters so much. So here's the thing. Most women were never told growing up, muscles are useful and really mandatory as you age. Muscles aren't just about looking good in a tank top or wearing a bikini. Muscle is really metabolic insurance because it affects so many things. It affects your blood sugar regulation, your bone density, which is critical as you age, metabolism, fall prevention, injury resilience, and most importantly, your independence as you age. And the older we get, the more muscle matters. You don't want to end up in a home where someone has to take care of you 24/7. You want to live independently as you age. Because after 30 years old, we start losing muscle naturally. So by our 60s and our 70s, that loss actually turns into something that's called let me get this right, sarcopenia, which is age-related muscle loss. And that's when everyday things start to get really hard. I'm talking about things like getting up off the floor, carrying your own groceries, climbing stairs, and even getting out of a chair. So researchers in the study literally said when people cannot get out of a chair anymore, that they're in deep trouble. So if you've ever helped an elderly parent or a grandparent after a fall, you know exactly what they mean. Muscle equals resilience. So let me tell you about a client I had years ago. Her name was Sheila. Sheila was 62 when she started training with weights. So when she first came to me to start training, she just said, I just want to lose 10 pounds, which by the way is a universal opening line that everybody would give me. I just want to lose 10 pounds, the last 10 pounds. But what was interesting about Sheila was that she actually struggled to stand up from the floor. When we'd sit down with our legs crossed to talk, she couldn't get up off the floor. And when she started training, she could barely sit down to a bench. So Sheila was suffering in terms of her muscle being present and having the ability to work for her. So fast forward a year after Sheila started weight training 3 times a week, and she was deadlifting, not crazy powerlifting numbers. She wasn't doing all of that, but she was definitely stronger. So one day during our session, she said something that stuck with me to this very day. She said, Lindy, I actually realized something. I'm not training for my body now. I'm training for my body when I'm 80. So that is the mindset shift that most women never make, but would be so much better off if they did. Just turning that key on your mind, understanding that you need strength to age gracefully and to age independently. Now, here's where things get kind of interesting. For decades, we as women were told that the key to health was walk more, do more cardio, and burn as many calories as you can. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying cardio is bad. I think cardio is great, actually. I'm not anti-cardio at all. I do lots of cardio myself. I play pickleball. I ride my bike. I walk on the treadmill. But this study showed something very important. Even when researchers accounted for how active women were, muscle strength is still the predictor of longevity, not just exercise, period. It's muscle strength, which means, in essence, 2 women could walk the same amount, but the stronger woman would have the lower mortality risk, the woman that had the most muscle strength. So that's huge. That's a huge insight because so many women think that their daily walk is enough. Walking is amazing. It's very good for you, but walking alone doesn't build much muscle. And muscle is the protective factor that I'm talking about here. So all of this reminds me of one of my elderly neighbors. Her name's Ruth. Ruth walks literally 5 miles every single day in rain, sleet, snow, heat. It doesn't matter. She's very religious about it. But she never lifted anything heavier than her grocery bags or her bags that she would get full of books from the library. When she was in her mid-70s, she fell in her driveway after a snowstorm. She slipped. So the fall itself wasn't catastrophic, but getting back up was. That was the problem. She just didn't have enough strength to pull herself up. And unfortunately, that's the story for a lot of older adults. It's not the fall that does them in, it's the loss of strength that prevents the recovery. So what does all this mean for women over 40? Let's get real. You guys know I like to get real with it. So if you're in your 40s or 50s or even older, right now, this study should feel empowering because muscle is something we can build at any age. There's been so many studies that show women in their 70s and 80s even can build muscle. You don't have to train like an Olympic athlete, but you have to add resistance training at least 2 to 3 times per week to your routine. That is the critical part. So that could mean using dumbbells, resistance bands, your own body weight to train. You can use gym machines. You can use kettlebells. There's so many different ways to go about adding resistance and building your muscles. You get to choose which one you use. But what matters most is progressive overload, which means gradually getting stronger over time, gradually increasing the resistance over time, because strength compounds. So the muscle you build now is a muscle that protects you for decades to come. I think that's a beautiful thing because when we're young and spry and fly, we can build muscle that will protect us for when we're 80 and 90 years old, if we're lucky enough to make it that long. Okay, I have one last story for you guys. My friend Donna started lifting weights back when she was 57 years old. That was the first time she ever picked up a weight. Before that, she had never touched a dumbbell, never done any type of resistance training, not a push-up, pull-up, nothing. So fast forward 5 years. At the age of 62, she now regularly plays pickleball. She plays with me. She's really good. She hikes, she gardens, and she travels extensively. And she proudly tells people she can out-squat her own grandson. So that's goals. That's life goals. So she's not just living longer, she's actually living stronger and making that a priority. So this study is very enlightening because it's letting us know the power in strength training, the power in maintaining and building muscle. Now, that's one of my favorite topics is how to maintain and build muscle. So this study supports everything that I believe in, everything that I practice. And I hope that you guys are taking this in, really letting it marinate. And if you're not already on a strength training program, I hope you put together a strength training program for yourself. A few episodes back, I actually laid out how best to put together your own strength training program. So look at that episode to get some hints and some tricks on how to start your fitness journey from a strength building perspective. Okay? That is all I have for you today, ladies. So if you have one thing to take away from this episode, let it be this. Muscle is not just about vanity. Yes, it does help you look good, helps you fit your jeans, it helps you stand up straight, but it's also the key component to longevity, healthy aging. So the study in JAMA Network Open reinforces what many of us in the fitness world have seen for years and years. The stronger you are, the better your odds of aging well. And if you're over 40 listening to this right now, you are not late. You are actually right on time. You need to start lifting. Let this be your motivation. Your future self will surely thank you. And you will probably be the ones helping your friends carry their grocery bags. All right, lovelies, until we meet again, keep it real, keep it consistent, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.
officially your first? Well then, welcome home to the Old National Bank Down Payment Assistance Program. We're here to help you from start to finish and make getting a mortgage a little easier. Plus, you may be eligible for up to $15,000 to use toward your down payment. How's that for a little easier? Everyone deserves a place to call home and a bank to help get them there. Connect with an Old National mortgage lender to learn more. Old National Bank. Get old in your new home.
When she walked in on her first day at Doherty Family College at the University of St. Thomas, she didn't know a soul.
I'm Zion, and I'm a second year at DFC.
A year later, and so many changes for Zion.
I love my friends here. I couldn't do anything without them. We support each other all the time.
At Doherty Family College, Zion also finds support on the academic side. Like all DFC students, Zion can count on a team committed to her success. Doherty Family College is Minnesota's affordable private college option. DFC students earn their associate's degree and then can transition to a 4-year college or university for their bachelor's. Many are students of color or first in their family to go to college.
It's nice to see people that look like you pursuing an education, wanting to succeed academically.
Zion encourages any high school student looking for a college home to do what she did and apply to Doherty Family College.
All the support you can need is here.
Ready to make your move and experience Doherty Family College for yourself? Then schedule your visit to the Minneapolis campus at dfc.stthomas.edu/visit.